liked it. I didn't know anything about it, so I didn't really know what I was getting into. The first thought I had when it started was, I've seen 13 Going on 30 and Freaky Friday. Those are the movies that popped in my head first, but this was way better.
There's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of really shitty movies that try to capitalize on the success of Big, you know, the whole body swap, or a child, an adult actor's trying to play a child, or a child trying to be an adult. I think the latest one, was it with Tajay P. Henson? I think it was called Little. I can't remember.
Yeah, where she is a like exec, and then she just becomes a small child,
like
or fashion or something.
And the black Jesus.
From Insecure, right?
Yeah.
I think she's like, oh shit, my boss is now an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
That's the latest one.
That is interesting.
It's as if they just can't think of new shit.
Yeah, very true.
All right, well.
But this one was much better. I mean, I've seen the gambit of some of those shitty rom-coms that I love. This one had a better, like, full storyline.
Think about that for a second. This one has a better sense of romance, according to Ash.
Not romance.
It's a child in a man's body.
I like the story.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was written by Steven Spielberg's sister.
Okay.
No one cared about it until Robert De Niro was like, ooh, maybe I'll do this. Did you know that?
I did not.
No. Tom Hanks, he wanted to do the movie, but he was committed to some other projects. John Landis. You familiar?
No.
John Landis. Animal House.
Oh, okay.
Coming to America.
Sure.
Trading Places, I think. Am I right? I want to say Trading Places.
I haven't
Pretty
seen
sure.
that.
Pretty sure Trading Places too. Beverly Hills Cop.
Nope.
Kentucky Fried Movie. Schlock. I'm trying to think of all the An American Werewolf in London. I know you've seen that one.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. So John Landis, legend. He was going to do it. He wanted to do it, but then he decided to do Trading Places instead. Another classic that I don't think you've seen.
I have not.
That might be next on our list.
I'm intrigued.
We're basically, you know, the core group, as Always Sunny, always kind of, you know, refers to it. You know what I mean? Ash is our D, you know. You know, well, I want to do kind of a series of these where, you know, one of us, you know, watches a movie that we've never seen, a classic film. I've seen Big, right? I'm a human being. Ash has never seen it, right? So, like, Ash is going to be like, the Venn diagram of films that she's never seen is just going to be insane. Volpe has seen quite a bit. Nick, I'm sure he's seen a lot. I've seen it quite a bit. But we all have little gaps in our... I've never seen The Sound of Music, I don't think.
I've seen that so many times.
Oh, exactly. You see what I'm saying? So Ash has me murdered in a few regards. So what we're going to find the quality of film that Ash has never seen, I guarantee you, is going to be more in line with probably whatever you're interested in hearing about than the film that I've never seen, because I typically avoid absolute crap and watch good movies. So this is kind of a weird thing. But as we digress, let's talk about it, Ash. Let's talk about it. Let's get into some of the...
The film itself, from being an 80s movie, it wasn't super, like, grainy or shitty. Like, it just had a nice feel to it. The themes, the colors, I liked that a lot. I mean, you knew where it was going the whole time. Like, it wasn't like a surprise twist ending. Like, I knew what was going to happen.
You've been ruined by so many...
Because I assume they would want you to worry that he wasn't ever going to get back to being a child. But I never at all had that, like, oh no, might he not find the machine again? No, of course he's going to find the fortune teller machine.
What's unclear is that, was it Zoltar?
Zoltar.
Is it the same Zoltar? Or just any Zoltar?
I don't know.
Is Zoltar just out there making wishes come true? Like, every Zoltar is out there just...
Is there really multiple Zoltars? Because remember they did they asked for the list of fairs or circuses.
But when the redheaded stepchild best friend gets a phone call from the guy who says he has one, or he like, you guys have Zoltar, when he does that, where there's that scene, the guy's like, yeah, we got one. It sounds like it's not like the only one on Earth. It's not in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like,
maybe it doesn't
is every
matter.
goddamn Zoltar out there just dropping wishes?
It's just a fortune teller. It's just granting wishes.
This one is actually...
But maybe they're all doing it.
I don't know.
It's unclear.
It's unclear. Well, was it make a wish or I'll tell you your fortune? Those are very different things, right?
Yes.
But
they are different. I don't remember.
It was a wish-making machine?
Because so he said, you know, one of them was like you turn them on, you aim the thing, you put the quarter in. When the quarter goes in his mouth, then he grants you a wish. Mm-hmm. So I guess he's not a fortune teller, but he looks like a swami kind of person or character.
A genie or something?
Yeah. But it granted him a wish. So it had to be a you know, the end. It was like make a wish and push the button.
Pretty ambiguous wish.
Yeah.
Just want to be big?
I just want to be big.
What does that mean,
Well, just like 13 going on 30, she's in a closet and glitter falls on her.
That's how it happens?
I just want to be older, I think, is all her vague wish was. And then Freaky Friday, they just say, I don't know, switch bodies or something weird like that.
I want to see a version of this where the person doesn't just instantly fall ass backwards into like a successful career or something, where they're like, oh, you're, captain of the Starship Enterprise all of a sudden or something. You know what I mean? He literally goes from like being a shithead 13-year-old kid who can't ride a roller coaster because some asshole carny is just like giving him a hard time.
You're not tall enough.
To being like an executive.
But he had to work his way up. He had to go live in the shitty hotel for a little bit, and then he talked his way into the job, and then...
John Lovitz has been there for like 5 years.
Stop working so quickly.
Yeah, he's telling him to, relax.
All fired? Huh? You gotta slow down, pace yourself. Slowly.
Relax. He bumps into a guy. He says he's going to make a Xerox copy. Next thing you know, he pitches one idea at a meeting. Bugs. Oh, what about bugs? I don't like building transform. This is just day one shit. I don't like buildings that transform. Yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like there were bug transformers when this happened. When this came out in 88? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there were Insecticons, man.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm Penny Marshall.
Ah! A plague of monsters from the sky!
Yeah, Insecticons predate Big. I'll stake my life on it. On it, dude.
The building transformer looked lame as fuck.
That was horrible. But that was a fun prop, you know what I mean? I would love that. You know what I mean? If someone could track down that Empire State Building transformer prop for me, I would love it.
The arm fella.
Yeah.
I just still can't let go of the whole, like, my kid's gone.
Oh,
like,
man,
that they just didn't at all play into that storyline.
Well, that's pretty dark. You know, I think
Yeah.
they steered away from the whole child abduction subplot.
He ran in here. He ran into the kitchen. He followed me. It's Heine.
Well, like, they had the cops there for a second, but that was it. And then he would just, like, torment her by calling her.
Was she a
He's
single
fine.
mom? Where was the dad?
No, but the dad was in the scene at the fair.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a little kid, and
I mean,
but like you
where's
never
he?
see him again.
What's he doing?
You never see him again. You see him in
He
the
killed
first
himself,
thing,
100%.
and that's it. And the mom's just there,
I mean, just
cleaning house.
Just drinking bottles of wine, just, the baby left unattended, probably thinking her son is being just brutalized in a basement somewhere or is lying dead. If Tom Hanks is wearing your child's clothing, he's in your house, he's saying, I'm your son, and you must assume he's eaten your child. He's killed your son, he's eaten them.
But again, this is 88. Like, are we tainted by what we grew up, that being more common?
I think,
was that less?
Silence of the Lambs comes out in 1990.
Which I haven't
You know
seen,
what I mean?
so I don't get the reference.
Man, I tell you guys, you guys are in for
abduct children.
We should make Ash watch the whole Manhunter, Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, the whole Hannibal series. He kind of prank calls his mom, you know what I mean? Says, hey, your son's doing great. I have your son.
Memories of the way we were. I promise, I crossed my heart.
You know what I mean? He's fine. He's fine. And John Lovitz is sitting in the cubicle next to him like, what the
And then she asks what song did I sing to him to go to sleep or something? And he's like, oh shit, I don't remember. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, this is fucked up.
And it's dark, dude. It's dark because there's this poor mom. He's out having a great time, silly string, living in Spanish Harlem or wherever they were living, and just, living it up, banging weird, power-hungry, shoulder pad wearing, angry, what's her name? I'm trying to remember the name of the actress. She was an absolute, is it Elizabeth Perkins? Man, yikes.
But it is interesting that they posed her as being attracted to a 13-year-old's personality more than the equally power-mad older man that she was working with.
Yeah. Well, it's called the foil device, right? Where You got a douchebag older guy that's like everything she should be attracted to, where he's like rich and successful. He probably like has like a Harvard MBA, but he's like an asshole. And then she's falling in love with, the guy won't stop fidgeting with the stereo and the windows and the limo and all that shit. And he has like a inflatable dinosaurs and Godzilla in his apartment and stuff like that, so.
Let's talk about that apartment. Man, I would kill for that apartment.
Let me tell you something. My first apartment in New York pretty closely resembled, I think his hotel room in New York was bigger than my first apartment in New York, and that was my experience. I think my first night alone in that apartment of just shaking and crying myself to sleep and wondering what the hell I'm doing here.
Bitch! Kill a bitch!
You looking for some fun tonight, sweet thing?
No, thank you.
And then, but that whole scene was dark too, where it's like a man and a child just casually get a hotel room, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, $17, here you go."
I mean, nowadays,
Gross.
you would hope at least they would ask the question of like, is that your son? No, kid, are you here against your will? Or
Give me a
wink if you're okay.
yeah. Are you?
know?
Yeah, dude, that was upsetting. But he did look like a homeless street kid to me, though. You know what I mean? So he looked like he knew what he was doing.
He was way better adjusted than Tom Hanks's character.
Yeah.
Like he was street
Josh,
smart. Yeah.
Billy the redhead.
Yeah.
Looks like he's been through some shit.
Yes.
He's had a hard life. Billy, he can't shoot a layup, He has one friend who sucks, but he's definitely more, street tough, and he walks out that hotel room. He goes, "You better lock your shit up, bro. It's tough out here." And he just trudges on home back to New Jersey. Like, no concern, while his buddy is just rocking and rolling, shaking in bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, homeboy is just like ordering hot dogs. Hold on a sec. He's going down to the
Getting a taxi.
transit committee. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just, when the first time he meets what's her name? Elizabeth Perkins. And he's just like, "Oh, yeah."
I'm his girlfriend. Oh, you're her?
Oh, you're the girlfriend. Just gives her the creepiest, like,
Yeah. That's very much his character.
But like, I just thought it was weird that these two are friends, because Hanks's portrayal of a child is like more of like an 8-year-old than maybe even younger than a kid that's a year away from going to high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could agree with that. I thought his portrayal of being a child in a grown-up's body was good. But yeah, he was very like meek and mild-mannered and like shy. But yeah, if you think of a 13-year-old, that's not really, especially nowadays, that's not what I think of as a 13-year-old.
No, 13-year-olds now are like, Snapchat, God knows what. So, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
But like what they did was they made the poor kid, the kid that was Josh Baskin, the young kid, the actor David Moscow, they made him act out everything that Tom Hanks had to act out.
Oh.
And they filmed it, and then Tom Hanks would like recreate it.
Oh.
And then the young kid Moscow, he was like, actually what he did was, like, Tom Hanks and my friend, like, I had a best friend at the time, and he was more like body type wise close to Tom Hanks. And so like we would go and hang out, and he'd take a camcorder and he'd film us like wrestling or doing whatever, like running around Central Park. And then we went back and watched the movie, and like what he does, he imitates a lot more of my friend. And he's like, you really notice a lot more, like in the scene where they're playing like racquetball or handball or whatever the hell, and he's like holding the ball out and keeping it away from Kevin McAllister or Michael McAllister or Mr. McAllister. I don't know.
Yes, Michael. I don't remember. Mr. McAllister.
Mr. McAllister. That is all like his best friend. He was saying like, that whole thing that he does, that like the barrel roll with his head to like keep away and stuff. That he's like that. He just stole that from my friend.
Interesting. So was his friend older, or his
no,
friend
it was the
just a fake
same.
kid?
He was just in that weird like gangly stage where his feet were too big. He was just kind of odd, and it was like Hanks could had a much easier time imitating that than my kind of child body or whatever.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of weird. This is one, digging into this one, it's pretty weird. Like, I can't imagine anyone else but Tom Hanks doing this, but apparently a lot of different actors came close to being considered or offered or passed on it. It's insane. Like, you know, Tom Hanks really wanted to, he was kind of the front runner, but he had a lot of things going on at the time. I think he was connected to like, was it Dragnet or something like that? I'm trying to remember, but he had some different things going on. And Penny Marshall came in to replace John Landis, and she wanted Tom Hanks, but they didn't know if they were going to get him. Robert De Niro was interested in doing it, but he wanted more money to do it, and they were like, oh, we can't afford De Niro. And then from De Niro, they offered it to Dennis Quaid. He turned it down. They offered it to Harrison Ford. He turned it down. Imagine Harrison Ford, grumpy ass Harrison Ford, hating ass Harrison Ford running around doing it. I don't know, maybe in the Han Solo, like 70, 77, but not by 88. Can you imagine 88
No.
Harrison Ford running around trying to be Tom Hanks?
I don't think he couldn't be youthful enough.
Hell no. Hell no, dude.
Because you were really convinced that he was a child. I wasn't thinking like, this is a grown up pretending to be a child. I mean,
Right.
yes, but like, it was very convincing.
I mean, when did Witness come out? That's not that far off from 88, right? So like, imagine Witness Harrison Ford trying to play this role.
No.
That's insane. Jeff Bridges turned it down. Jeff Bridges he would have been interesting because he has like a weird childlike wonder. Could have done it. Gary Busey was like in the mix, which would have been insane.
Hello, Lamp.
Oh, Gary.
See?
Yay!
Imagine like having a child have to be near Gary Busey for like hours on end each day. It was brutal. Steve Guttenberg, Bill Murray was considered, to be into it. And then that just didn't happen. And then Michael Keaton was considered. He would have been kind of a weird choice. Because Batman 88 did Batman 88 come out, or 89 would have come out the next year? He would have gone from Big to Batman like in a year or something. That would have been crazy. Robin Williams was considered, but then he made Jack like
same
what
thing.
in like 96.
Haven't seen it, don't know.
There you go. Well, that's another kind of weird.
I know what it's about.
Do you know what the premise of Jack?
Yeah.
Jack Powell is a grown-up on the outside,
Whiny in school.
but on the inside,
Marco.
Bolo, he's all boy. Jack. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Basically, like, they just invented a way to make big with science instead of magic.
Yeah.
They were like, let's just remove Zoltar. The Zoltar factor, let's remove.
Yeah.
There you go. That would have been insane. I think you had to do... I can't imagine anyone but Tom Hanks doing it. So thank Christ for that.
Yeah.
But made how much? A lot of money. $150 million. $18 million budget. First female director to make $100 million movie.
That's interesting.
Big one for Penn.
I mean, I thought it was really well done. It would be a movie I would revisit. I would watch it again.
Yeah.
And enjoy it, even though I know what's going to happen, but it was still just enjoying to watch.
You're not disturbed by the love scenes?
I mean, I am, but I can, like, let them go. But yeah, the love scenes are... I think that was one of the first things I said afterwards. Like, now he goes back to being a 13-year-old. Now when he goes to high school, he's already banged somebody, so that's an interesting experience. This is not like he doesn't remember what happened. He has all of these experiences now.
Yeah. He's already done the corporate grind.
Yeah.
He's already bagged his first, girlfriend. He's done the dinner parties.
Yeah.
He's already got his first lease. You know what I mean? He's been there, done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe he goes in a totally different direction now because he's already seen the whole corporate 9 to 5.
Maybe.
So maybe he goes off and becomes like a weird like world traveler backpacking through Thailand or something.
Maybe. It just really shows you like in that kind of corporate grind and job structure that his childlikeness is more beneficial than the adults that, they have so many stories like that where the adults can't remember how to be a child or they can't like just let go of being a grown-up. You know what I mean?
I think it helps when you're at a toy company. You know what I mean? But I would have loved them to like, hey, we do corporate finance or like we do accounting and
yeah, that wouldn't work so well.
It'd be like Kramer when he just goes to work. This is a reference I don't think you're probably gonna get, but like Kramer goes to work one time and he like falls in and he just brings like crackers in a suitcase.
Isn't that because he has the briefcase?
Yeah, he gets a briefcase. He just like pretends to go to work and they like fake fire him. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know. It's interesting concept. Got disturbing parts in it for sure that maybe are more disturbing now than they would have been back then. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Oh, there you go. So we're thinking of fun movies for Ash. She hasn't seen it. You name it, she hasn't seen it.
Most likely.
We wanted to do Shawshank, Goodfellas. Let's see, we've got some good
many.
Trading Places. You name it. Quality films. Ash hasn't seen them. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She has seen that. So leave some classics in the comments. You got ideas? You want Ash to see it? We'll force her to watch it. Like another classic film. I'm probably not gonna get away with making her watch, but A Clockwork Orange. Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
How many Kubrick films have you seen? The Shining. I'm trying to think. I tried to make you watch 2001: A Space Odyssey one time, and then like we were watching. Was it Bob? We were watching Bob's Burgers or Simpsons, and they were like, I was like, oh, remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that's 2001: A Space. She's like, I've never seen that. I was like, I think we have. I own that. I think we did watch it. She's like, nah, I don't remember that. I'm like, that.
You can't make it through in one sitting with me. I don't remember most of it.
Well, there you go. All right, I'll get Volpe on this too. Volpe's gonna watch some horrible films for us. I think Volpe, he's committed, I think, at one point to watching all the Fast and Furious films.
Yes.
So we're gonna try to have him do that because that's a,
that'll be entertaining.
That's just an undertaking unto itself. But he's a fascinating character. He's seen like weird Korean, Japanese horror films from 2003, but like he hasn't seen The Meg or something. You know what I mean? Like Aquaman or something. Yeah, right. So like thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Bye.